When it comes to what your family eats and drinks, you know your choices matter. You're the expert because you know what fits your life. And getting it right starts with good information. That's why America's beverage companies are sharing more information about our ingredients at goodtoknowfacts.org. No spin, no judgments, just the facts straight from the experts for more than 140 beverage ingredients. Visit goodtoknowfacts.org.
The Oregon Ducks rumble, bumble, stumble their way to a 21-7 win over Wisconsin, and I've got some concerns. Welcome to the Ducks Confidential Podcast. I am Aaron Fentress, and he is George Wrighster. I'm of the Oregonian and OregonLive, and he's of the CW and the Unafraid Show. He's been going off lately, going off on Brian Kelly, going off on the SEC, having 25 teams ranked. He only have like 18 or 19 in the conference. We're going to get to some of that later. But first, man, you know what? All I know is that the Ducks lost Indiana last time they were at home, and you were there. They banned you this week, right? They told you couldn't come back, and then they win. Is that any truth to those rumors?
No, man. That's actually the first Duck game that I've been back to that they've ever lost. So that lets you know how good of a record that the Ducks have in Autzen. Now, I have been to a national championship game that did not go so well, but in the confines of Autzen Stadium, or when I went to a road game too, because I've been to the USC, been to UCLA, Cal, other places. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they perform well.
Okay, so it's not your fault. There were a ton of alumni there that day, so there's a lot of suspects.
I blame you.
Joey
That's
was there.
Who it was.
We can blame Joey.
I blame meeting you. That was the first time I ever met you, and that curse just rubbed off on the Ducks.
This is possible. All right, let's cut straight to the chase here. The Ducks won 21-7 in a game both of us and most people thought was going to be a blowout. It was a 34-point spread. Now I know it was raining and the winds came. That was mostly second half. First half wasn't too bad at all. Offense simply did not look good until, they started grinding. So let's go to my 3 words, these 3 words. I'll go first. My 3 words are ground and pound, baby. Look, I was a receiver back in the day. You know how all receivers are. We want to throw the ball 99% of the time. And if we run it, the 1%, it needs to be a reverse to one of us. That's how receivers think. Right? That's how we all think. But
yes, that's a fact.
Being raised in the West Coast offense at Portland State and then doing some coaching myself, oh my God, the running game, when you can just line up and just pound it at
run
people.
Somebody over, yes.
It's just a different type of domination, so right? And you like catching passes, but I know you also like blocking down that defensive end and letting the back run off your backside, right?
No, actually, I didn't like that.
Oh, you didn't like that? I was trying to give you some credit, but never mind. Okay.
No, I'm joking. Is that you do feel a sense of pride because I was blocking for Fred Taylor when he went over 10,000 yards, which was really cool. And so you do take pride in the success of your teammates. You just want the ball too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like you said, you you make a good block and the running back comes where you were. You're like, I did my job. That's going to look good on the film session. And you also know if you miss a block and your guy makes a tackle, you're like, I'm going to hear about that. Anyway, so the Ducks were struggling. They couldn't throw the ball. Dante didn't look good. He got sacked on the first play of the game, or first pass play at least, which was crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're back on their own one. They just say, hey, we're going to start running the football. And they rushed for like 50 to 99 yards. They did have a couple of nice pass plays on that drive. Jordan Davison went off. So, hey, we saw them adjust. Sometimes you're just going to have that kind of game where it's just, okay, this is a grinded out game. And here's a number for you. So they rushed for 203 or whatever net or total. Sorry, net, yeah. But their gross for the running backs was 227 on 32 carries for 7.1 per pop. And that's impressive, especially when you consider that Wisconsin came in with the 10th ranked run defense in the country at 97 yards per game. So the running game looked amazing, but still, I left with a bad feeling about the offense. You go next.
All right. My 3 words were just win, baby. I mean, I think sometimes we overstate, like we over magnify wins and we over magnify losses, right? And I think that Ducks fans, the toxicity surrounding this game was
Firestein.
I found it very interesting. It's like, fire the guy who's never had an offense finish less than third in efficiency in the country. Okay, that's the guy we fire.
And it's had two Heisman candidates.
Yes, that's the guy we fire. Okay, but the other part of it was, all right. I appreciate this, and I want Ducks fans to understand this. Where this program has come. When I first was at Oregon, we were happy to win these big games. Like we were happy to win every single game that got won. Mind you, and we were a winning program. I think I lost more games my last year at Oregon than the previous 3 years.
Right.
Then the year I redshirted and the two altogether, we lost more that season than we did all those years combined.
That was the collapse season that started with with Washington State. Oh, no, that was 2003. Wasn't that 2003?
It started with Arizona State.
Yeah,
I think.
sorry, I'm moving up.
Either way, that collapse. We ended up in the Seattle Bowl.
That's right.
I think we finished 7-6 or something.
Yeah.
That so we were happy to win games, excited to win every single game. Ducks fans are like, yeah, we won. Didn't care what the score was. And then there became the expectation of winning. Like, of course we're going to win, duh. You know what I mean? And then it became, and now it has graduated to the Alabama, oh my God, we won, but we suck.
Yeah. Like, we only won by 14.
The sky is falling.
Sounds like media people.
Yes. Aaron, you are the person who would, if you could find something to say or criticize, you would. So I have a question. Was there ever a point in time in the Wisconsin game that you felt like the outcome was in jeopardy?
Seriously, no, because I didn't believe Wisconsin was ever going to score more than 10 points, and I figured Oregon was going to score 11 at least. So yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Is that even when it was 0-0
and they were on the 1 yard line,
quarter, yes, and they were on the 1 yard line, were you like, oh my God, Wisconsin might actually win?
No.
Exactly. Yeah. So think about how, because the score doesn't always dictate how the game was. When Oregon was up 14-0, Dante goes out. They didn't even bring Dante back they didn't even feel the need to bring him back into the game. That's how in control of this game this was.
He went out before. He went out on the drive that ended up going 14-0. Wasn't it that drive he got hurt?
Yeah. So, it was 7-0 at that time?
Right. He gets hurt, and then Davison has a touchdown run, right?
Yes. So they never – it was 7-0. And they're like, this game's over. So, and the weather was atrocious. And yes, 100% were the first 4 drives maddening? Yes. Yes, they were. But Wisconsin is a good rush. Like Aaron mentioned, the 10th ranked rush defense in the country, and we wanted to run the ball. The weather was bad, balls on the ground all over the place, and it took them 4 drives to figure out which run plays were going to be more effective. Would you like that to take two drives? Yes, but as soon as it got figured out, if you take out the quarterback runs, like if you just talk about the wide receivers, the running backs.
3 running backs, yeah.
Yes. You're at 7 yards a carry. Yep. So what are we talking about? And people are like, oh my God, this offense is regressing and this, and this. Okay. I would describe this offense as streaky at times. It is streaky. Is that a fair assessment?
I think this offense has been mediocre to good against good teams and amazing against bad teams.
Yeah, so I would yes,
they were
that's
good in the second half of Penn State. You can give them some levels of good against Wisconsin, and yes, the weather played a factor, but overall, it does not look like a championship level offense against good competition. That's what I was saying.
And people and that's what I would say as well, Aaron, until I watched no less than 20 football games this weekend. I promise you, Aaron, I'm a psycho. 20 games this weekend.
That's 60 hours. You watch them in their entirety, or you watch like the clipped versions?
Both. So I have multiple TVs going on. Mm-hmm. So I have 5 games going on at any one time. And I'm watching all of these games. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this Alabama-South Carolina game. I've watched at least 5 South Carolina games this year. Their offense is atrocious. And their defense is just okay. Alabama was having trouble. Alabama can't run the football. Alabama cannot run the football.
Which is weird.
Period.
Yeah.
Yes. And so that offense gets stopped and stale at times because they needed essentially two defensive touchdowns to beat South Carolina, to score enough offensive points to beat South Carolina. Ole Miss damn near lost to Washington State. Missouri hasn't beaten anybody with any like they haven't beat a ranked team, they haven't beat a good team, they haven't beat anybody. And all of these teams that are ranked 3 through 7, I believe can get beat on any weekend. So that's Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Ole Miss. All of them can be beat and they all can win the championship. And then Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt, who are 8 and 9, I just don't think that they have the depth of that they can win a game, but stringing together 4 straight games or even 3 straight games to win a championship, that's not going to happen. And then you got, and I would put BYU in that category too. And then you got Miami, Notre Dame, and Texas Tech, who are 10, 12, and 13, who I believe are all in the same category as 3 through 7.
Okay, but let's go back to Alabama. Alabama put up 38 on Wisconsin, won. And then they have wins over Georgia, Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Tennessee. So their resume, whether they struggle at South Carolina or not, their resume is light years ahead of where Oregon's is. And I'm not blaming Oregon. Oregon's not responsible for its schedule necessarily. I'm just saying that there's more proof in Alabama's pudding than there is in Oregon.
Yeah, because I look at that Georgia win in particular, and I think Vanderbilt's a good football team. I don't think they're the 10th best team or 9th best team or 8th, whatever they are, 8th or 9th best team in the country. I don't think that, but I do believe that Georgia is a good football team. They're one of the 12 best teams in the country. So that is a really good win. But they've also shown that they're capable of losing to Florida State and struggling with South Carolina. So regardless of where you want to rank, if you want to rank Alabama in front of Oregon, I'm not going to sit here and argue about number 4 through number 7. But what I will say is that all of these teams, except for Ohio State and Indiana so far, look like that they are beatable. And I also believe that Indiana's beatable. Like all of these teams have shown that there are potential landmines that they can run over on a particular Saturday. And that's honestly the thing that I love about this season and what's going on in college football right now, because there is not a definitive team that you would be willing to bet your house on or most sane people would be willing to bet a paycheck on is going to win the national championship.
Okay. I mean, closest would probably be Ohio State, but I hear what you're saying. All right, let's move on to the next thing, the good and the terrible. The defense was good, I guess. It was Wisconsin. I don't know how much. I mean, they gave up a touchdown. First touchdown Wisconsin had scored in 15 quarters. So I don't know. Do I ding them for that? That's kind of unfair.
I mean, if they had driven down and gotten a touchdown, yes. If it wasn't a chuck and duck,
yeah, things just happen.
Where he was clearly covered, like that was like a. All right,
that was a
man,
prayer.
Whatever.
Like,
as a coach,
you're going to get lucky at some point, right?
You can't even get mad at that.
Right.
That was a 42-yard reception, and that was half of their passing yards.
Right. Now,
this pass defense is suffocating, and I will and I am not afraid to use that term, because when when you have seen good defenses around the country, no matter who they're playing, they hold them down. They have only allowed one 200-yard passer on the season, and that was Fernando Mendoza, who I think threw for 210 or 215. Aside from that, they've held 4 opponents under 100 yards, which is difficult to do, even if you're playing good defense.
But who are the opponents?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
This is what happened last year. They were dominating against bad quarterbacks, and they played some good quarterbacks. And they gave up yards.
They were
touchdowns.
but they were not holding people under this amount of yards. Rutgers. I mean, do we need to go back to Callie Ekmanis, who threw for
297 per game? He only had 79. I get it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Is that
Oregon State,
it's not
297 per game, only had 68.
Yes, yeah. That's the point, is that it's not that those teams are so great. It's just the fact that even in playing whoever it is that you want to judge them, they have suffocated every single pass offense that they have played, including in Indiana's, who was efficient, but not, it wasn't explosive, and it wasn't and they also got a pick six. This pass defense is formidable. That's what I will say.
Okay. Well, I'm going to reserve judgment until after SC UW, but we'll find out soon enough. All right. The terrible for me, again, it's early in the game. There was some rain, but not a ton early on. The passing game did not look good at all. Clearly, Wisconsin was way better defensively than Rutgers. This comes back to what I said after Rutgers. Yeah. I gave Oregon's credit for 60% of what happened at Rutgers, because Rutgers was just god awful. Wisconsin actually came to play. Because Wisconsin came to play, and they were bringing it up front. They were filling gaps. They were tackling. They played a good football game, and they got after Dante. Sacked him 3 times, I think, or twice at least. I think one wasn't his fault. But anyway, so I have concerns. I have concerns.
But didn't I tell you that Wisconsin, after their head coach Luke Fickell, after everybody knew that he was not going to get fired and everything, that they were going to come and play better? Yeah, I expected this. Right. I expected them to score more points, and without the weather, I think they do score more. But I don't make too much out of this game. I don't. There is going to be times in a season where it ain't gonna look pretty. It's just time to win. And then this team gets a bye week, and then they go out to play Iowa, and Iowa's a tough football team. They are going to run the football. So all of the people who are like, Oregon can't stop the run and this, and this, we're going to find out.
Very true.
We're going to find out.
All right, speaking of
because they've given up yards, especially in the beginning of games, but then they stop people from running the football after that.
So speaking of running, Jordan Davison went off 100 yards for a second straight week, couple touchdowns. I wrote a feature on OregonLive. You can check it out on both him and De'Ara Hill, two freshmen coming in. Looking pretty good, man. I mean, hey, Jordan seemed to be the guy the other day, the hot hand, so to speak. I love, clearly his size is imposing, but he moves, man. He doesn't move like a 236-pound guy. Is he, in your mind, the future number one back, I should say? Do you think it's going to be a 1A, 1B with him and De'Ara, or do you think Jordan's going to be the guy?
No. I think it's going to be a 1A, 1B kind of thing. But the A side is going to be Davidson. I told you that they were going to get to a point where somebody was going to start taking a lot more carries, that you weren't going to see as many. And we finally got a 16 carry game, because you got to kind of build them up and stuff like that. And then Noah still had 14 carries. But I think that when you get down the stretch, when we get to Washington and USC, Jordan's probably going to be over 20 carries in at least one of them games.
Okay. So the question is, and of course, us journalists have to always try and, blow things out of proportion a little bit, but he's got some Freeman and some Stewart in him, man. Like, could he be that caliber?
I think this kid is going to be really, really good.
I love his feet, man. Someone that big.
Yes.
Remember Jerome Bettis? Jerome Bettis was probably bigger.
Feet up underneath him, but not skinny feet,
right?
Because skinny feet throw you off balance. He keeps them balanced, and he's always pit-a-pat. So he's always ready to make a move.
Right. Accelerate through a
and
hole.
He's elusive. He's got good balance. Like you saw him a couple times, like where he got hit. Yeah. Yes, he's got contact courage. Listen, this kid is. He might be one of them ones, bro. I'm not a guy that likes to, as much as you feel like some of the stuff I say is hyperbole. I don't really like to
get ahead of your skis.
Yes, yeah. When it comes to like player comps, unless I am one, I mean, I gotta feel it in my soul.
Right. I hear you. You know, I love the idea of a situation where you know, maybe Jordan's 1A and he's pounding people and all of a sudden here comes Hill, right? He's hitting the hole a little bit quicker, a little bit more burst on those tired, worn down defenders, and boom, he's going to the house.
And you're like, God,
damn, where'd that kid come from?
or you're used to a certain type of juke, and then all of a sudden he hits you with one, and then it's like, pew, and you're like, oh, dang it, that was the last guy.
Or you reverse it, and you use the speed guy, and all of a sudden Jordan's run you over. So definitely excitement there. All right, grades across. I mean, this is a tough game to grade. I give the defense a B- only because they gave up a touchdown against a bad team. I give the offense a B- only because the
Russian judge.
Because the offense, half of it wasn't there, even though it was the rain, and the special teams didn't. I mean, I don't even remember anything they did on the special teams either way. So
well, they ran a fake punt that got called back, so I'm going to give them an F on special.
Yeah,
well, actually, no,
right.
I'm going to give them a C because they didn't do anything.
The onside kick was good though.
Yeah. Oh, true. So that kind of cancels out the fake punt touchdown being called back. So let's go. I'll give him a B.
All right. So my hidden gem is going to be, I mean, not so hidden, you know, Janoris Wilson with the touchdown. But the hidden gem, I asked him after the game if that touchdown celebration was spontaneous or if he'd been, you know, working on it. He said he'd been working on it for 3 weeks, but didn't want to do it because he didn't want to get the Key and Peele 3-pump flag. Do you remember that sketch?
Yes, of course.
Of course you do, right? And so I actually made a video and go check on Twitter where I spliced in the Key and Peele skit with him talking about it. But I just thought that was hilarious. But so let me ask you a question though. I was thinking about this starting yesterday. As a tight end, would it piss you off if they took an offensive lineman, slapped number 35 on him, stuck him in a tight end, and gave him your touchdown?
No, because
you just said you want the ball.
I do. However, on that particular play, that works because it's Janoris. He's so wide open because it's Janoris Wilson.
But he's wearing 35. Why is the defense so dumb?
But they know that he's a tackle. Like they know what he is when he comes in the game because he does it at times already. So they know who he is. So that play fake works so well because it's Janoris Wilson. If you put Kenyon Sadiq there, he's much less open. If open at all, because they're going to be paying attention to him a lot more. So that wouldn't bug me. It will bug me like second or third time. Okay. Now, like, all right, bro, we're getting excessive. I understand you gave a fat guy a touchdown, but I mean, it would be like, dude, Alabama keeps they put their left tackle, they lined him up at running back in goal line. I'm like, come on, man. And then he's running and then somebody just hits his ankle and he falls. I'm like, duh. He's 340 pounds, of course. Like if it's him one-on-one at the goal line, yes, but as soon as he got to
be nimble,
make somebody miss or display some sweet feet, it ain't happening.
Sweet feet. Rudy Huxtable, sweet feet.
Yeah,
sweet
fat
feet.
guy touchdowns are supposed to be anomalies. Like once you get into that as your, you know, like the refrigerator Perry pack, just throw that in the trash, bro. Stop.
I still have nightmares as a Bears fan. Walter Payton helmet right here. Payton not getting the touchdown and Fridge getting one in the Super Bowl still pisses me off to this day. Anyway, all right, what's your hidden gem?
Well, I mean, it was going to be Janoris Wilson.
My bad.
You
Okay.
stole him.
I stole it.
And when we talked about it pregame, thief. You're the tribal thief.
Oh,
yes.
Did you mention him as your hidden?
Yes. We talked about this. You are the tribal thief right now. It's okay, though.
That's my bad, bro. Anyway, okay, so let's get to where does Oregon stand?
Wrestling fans will know who the tribal thief is.
Who is that?
He is the nemesis of the tribal chief. Do you know who the tribal chief is?
No.
Oh Lord,
I don't follow that fake nonsense.
Roman Reigns.
Okay, my bad. Wait, did you name your son after him?
No, man. That's hilarious, though.
I was gonna say, man, you name your son after a professional fake wrestler. Anyway, all right. Where does Oregon stand nationally? Do they? I know what you think. You think there's a lot of parity and Oregon's fine. I feel like, man, Oregon is suspect right now, dude. They got to close strong. They got to get those wins over SC and UW probably anyway. Yeah. But those are going to be their best 2 wins of the season by far.
Already.
I know. It's just, it's not totally their fault, but the offense has looked blah against 3 solid to good teams and spectacular against some bad teams. I just don't feel like they stack up nationally. I've said that before. I don't think they're going to have a chance to win the national title, but hey, such is life. Now this week you got USC, Nebraska, big game, Oklahoma, Tennessee. Any other matchups you like?
Ooh, this week I am excited about. Hold on, I wrote them down. USC, Nebraska. I am the Cincinnati, Utah game. I'm intrigued by, and the Penn State, Ohio State game is of interest as well. But the thing that I want people to understand is with all of this SEC talk, is do you understand, Aaron? At the top, and this is the problem with playing only 8 conference games. So Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Vanderbilt are all at the top of the SEC, right?
Right.
In that order. Guess how many of those teams play each other down the stretch?
Half.
None.
Whoa, so they can all coast and still be at the top.
So, yes. So Texas A&M did not have to play Alabama, Georgia. They didn't have to play Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, or Vanderbilt this season.
Damn.
Interesting. And at that, so that means Alabama only didn't have to play Texas A&M, Georgia. I'm sorry, they beat Georgia, so they didn't have to play Texas A&M, Ole Miss, or Vanderbilt this year. So all of these teams could finish out. Alabama and Texas A&M could finish 8-0, Georgia 7-1, Ole Miss 7-1, and Vanderbilt 7-1 in the conference. That can't happen in any other conference,
right?
Except for the ACC because they only play 8 conference games too. So it's going to be a little bit more like, so those teams are going to appear better because they're going to have less losses.
Right. But a soft schedule.
And then they're going to be like, see, look, Georgia doesn't lose, Alabama, because they don't play each other. What do you mean?
It's one of the problems of having these ginormous conferences. I mean, 3 of the best teams, well, okay, so A&M, Texas, and Oklahoma were all in the Big 12.
Yep.
So you take the 3 best programs in the Big 12 and you throw them in the SEC, and of course you're going to be top heavy. But if you don't make them all play each other, then you're going to have this type of situation.
Yeah.
Which,
dude, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams ranked. Stop.
And the lowest one is Texas at 20.
Yeah.
They have 9 of the top 20 teams. So obviously you don't think that's fair.
Dude. Missouri has beat Central Arkansas, Kansas, Louisville, South Carolina, UMass, and Auburn this year. And they lost to Alabama and lost to Vanderbilt. So I guess those 2 close losses are carrying a lot of, and they haven't even dominated all the rest of their games. And if they were an ACC team, mind you, they're down 2 quarterbacks. Missouri's down 2 quarterbacks. You saw what they did to Florida State, who was 13-0 when they were down a quarterback. They're like, we're not even putting them in the playoff. It's ridiculous, bro.
Very true. All right, real quick before we get to our early prediction, we'll preview the game more next week. But the Brian Kelly firing LSU, dude, how are all these programs firing all these guys and giving them $40-50 million at major? So is this just a product of you got to? If we're paying you this kind of money, we're paying you to win, not to build, not to reload, not to have a all shucks year. And if you're not winning, you got to go and we'll buy you out and figure it out. Hopefully you offset it with another job, and then we're going to find someone else. Is that just the situation here? Because some of these types of situations are ridiculous.
100% yes. I think that fans and programs are going to have to reframe what their expectations are, because on the live stream on yesterday, LSU people in there, they're like, we need to be competing for a championship every other year. Right. That's not reality right now. Like, it's just not. Like, Georgia last year was not a championship caliber team. I mean, I guess if your idea is that you should be in the playoff and be in the tournament every other year, that feels reasonable, right?
If you're LSU, you should figure you're in the mix.
Yeah, that you're in the tournament every other year. Cool. Like, I don't feel like that's too much to ask for it at LSU.
You expect that for Oregon, right?
Yeah. So I don't have a problem with it, but people forget what that run there looks like. Is that sometimes you might finish 9-3 and just sneak into the tournament, and then you got to play well when you get into the tournament. You're going to finish 10-2. You're going to finish 11-1. And these SEC teams, they are going to have they are going to have heart attacks next year when they go to 9 conference games. They're going to be like, all these losses. Dude, it is the difference. There's a mathematical thing to it. Is when you play 8 conference games, that is an average of 4 losses per team that have to be spread amongst so 4 losses. When you go to 9 conference games, that's an extra half a game loss for every single team. So when you have a 16-team conference, that is 8 more losses that have to go around. 8. So who's going to get those? Somebody's got to get them.
Right.
And it's not all the teams at the bottom, because the teams at the top are now going to have to play each other more. So how are they going to handle that? They're going to be like, oh my God, we keep losing. It is going to be a change in philosophy. And so fans and administrators have to change their expectations, 1, and 2. And a couple of my coaching friends have pushed back on me some. I'm like, but if they were deep down in their heart, they know it's true, that the structure of these deals is problematic. Aaron, I'm going to hire you. And let's say because I believe in that you should be paid what the market will bear and all of these things. So, Aaron, I'm going to pay you $10.1 million to coach LSU. Okay.
Yeah. Done.
But yes, exactly. Done. But if you lose and you don't live up to expectations and I fire you, I'm going to give you $53 million to walk out the door.
Sold.
But if you walk out the door and you take another job, you only owe me $2 million.
But the program that takes me will owe some money, right? If there's a buyout.
No. His buyout was the maximum that his buyout, if he left, ever was $2 million.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. They need to lower the percentage to where they're like, we still owe you 90% of this deal. No, we will give you 50% on the dollar of whatever's left. That's where it needs to move to. Like, I'm not saying that coaches should not be paid handsomely because they bring so much money in and all of this stuff. But these buyouts are not sustainable. And then they'll sit up here and tell you, oh, well, you know what, Aaron? The players getting paid, that's the problem. That's why there's no money. Come on, bro.
Okay, but if one program says we're not going to give you 10 years guaranteed money so therefore there's a huge buyout, then someone else, if they really want that coach, if they're that hot stuff, someone else is going to give it to them. I mean, Lanning didn't even go anywhere, get a job offer, he got a raise. Kiffin's going to get a big raise or leave, right? Programs are throwing money around to keep
like
people.
The Chicago Bears when they gave Jay Cutler that $120 million extension.
Was it that much?
They were like, who else are we going to get? Like, if you know that you shouldn't pay that this going rate is too much. If you need a car, Aaron, and the car that you want, like you find the car and you're driving the car and you buy the car, right? And then, but every couple years, somebody comes along and is like, I think I want to buy this car. And there's an amount that you will go to pay more to keep your favorite car. But then there comes an amount where you're like, nah, that's too, hey man, if you want to go over there, like I made it comfortable and cushy for you over here. Because one of the things that people miss all the time, Aaron, is that coaches no longer in this era leave jobs just for money.
Right.
Like the idea that you're going to leave, like I've seen people on LSU's board. Oh, well, let's offer Dan Lanning $15 million. He's making 10. It's going up to 11 and all of this other stuff. Like, how are you going to, like, I'm going to leave where I'm at, comfortable, resourced and everything because somebody offered me $15 million and I'm making like 11. I'm going to pick the numbers become minimal at that point. Like you're not just going to
35% raise, bro.
Yes, but what you lose is very, very valuable. So I'm just saying that coaches aren't just going to say, all right, they're offering me 15 mil. And if you are a program, just because like you can't give your coach a raise just because somebody wants to steal him. Because you can give him the money. If he really wants to leave, he's going to leave. Washington was trying to pay Kalen DeBoer $10 million. He wouldn't sign the contract. Why? Because he wanted to leave. Like, coaches will leave if they want to leave. You do not have to give a coach who has not earned it a raise. And if he wants to bounce, he was going to leave anyway.
Fair. It's all a circus, but not my money, not my problem. All right. Iowa, threat level. For me, man, I'm going what?
You forgot one topic.
What?
That has Duck fans hot. The backup quarterback situation.
Oh, you're right. Okay, give me your take.
So Brock Thomas is we asked this question. What was going to happen if Dante Moore got hurt? Who would come in the game?
And the game was in doubt.
And the game was in, yes. The game was, it was 7-0.
We decided earlier, though, it wasn't really in doubt, but go ahead.
Yeah, but there's a difference in it. Yes. Yeah. At 7-0, right. Yes.
They weren't going to lose, but yes. They could lose. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it was Brock Thomas. And you have people who are upset. They're like, well, the issue is scouting, because if you have a 4-star who's playing over, if you have a walk-on who's playing over 2 4-stars who've been in the program for a second, then that's a problem. Actually, no, it's not. Number one, it would be different if people thought that Austin Novosad was bad. Have you, Aaron, since you've been covering the program, has anybody ever told you, or you have heard, Austin Novosad ain't really that good?
No, as a matter of fact, everything I've heard is that he's pretty damn good, but Dante's just a little bit better. which makes you wonder, though, why this happened, unless it's some shenanigans.
No.
So Brock beat him out.
You can't pull shenanigans because your team will crack if you pull shenanigans. Now, what I do believe is, because he said he was over there carving up our scout team and all of this stuff and all of that. He was carving up our defense. I believe that things happen because I've seen it. Walk-ons have glow-ups. That's how Dallas Clark, who's one of the better non-Hall of Fame tight ends ever, he was a walk-on at Iowa. Who else? Boy from Minnesota, the defensive end, who's a Hall of Famer now, or going to be soon. He was number 69. Damn, it was when I was playing.
Jared Allen?
Yes, he was a walk-on. Like, glow-ups happen all the time. And people have to be okay with that. That doesn't mean that anybody else sucked. It just means that, like, Brock has shown like that some light bulb came on or something. And they also may be trying to motivate other, whether it's, Moga, whether it's Akili, or whether it's Novosad, that they want them to step up. And they have a system, Aaron, where they are evaluating talent every single day. If you win your reps in practice and you all of this stuff, that's who should play. So everything is a competition. And if you lose your competition, then you're in the back that week.
Well, start of fall camp, we all assumed Herbert was going to redshirt behind Wilson, Kelly, and Prukop, 2 4-stars and a transfer. And everything that came out of camp was that Herbert was ripping it up. That maybe,
he should have been the starter when the season started.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he still had to learn, but by 4 or 5 games in, he was a starter and never looked back, clearly. Okay, if you're Austin Novosad, though, how do you come back next year? There's no way.
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, obviously, it would depend on how the season
if Dante goes pro and you think you can win the job, maybe. But I don't think Dante's leaving. Yeah. So you have to leave.
No, I don't think he is either.
Yeah, you have to leave.
Yeah. And that's okay. I would have a bigger question mark if I were like I told people I did not ever think that Luke Moga would ever take a meaningful snap in a Ducks uniform, and I still believe that.
Okay.
Not that the kid won't be a decent college football quarterback. I just don't think he'll ever be the number one for Oregon. He's got some oh my God, old boy from Crespi. Brian feels a lot like Brian Bennett.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now also since Austin hasn't been on the injury report and he traveled to Rutgers, they can't magically later say, oh, we're going to try and get him a medical red shirt. Right?
I don't know.
I mean, how do you argue a medical red shirt if the guy was never listed? Well, not since early when he had the early issues, but for the rest of the season, he's traveling and he's not listed on the injury report.
That is a legitimate question, Aaron. That is a legitimate question, which I believe that you're probably right about, but who knows?
Okay. All right. We will come back next week and dive deeper into
we had Iowa.
Oh, we didn't finish Iowa. That's right. I tried to go. Okay. Threat level 4 for me. Look, Iowa just thumped Minnesota Gophers 41-3. You say they have no offense, but Iowa racked up. I'm looking. It was only 274 yards of offense. Never mind. 4 of 12 on third down.
Teams and on defense.
Dude, 4 of 12 on third down. 141 passing. Still can't throw it. Only 133 rushing on 36 carries, and it's still 141-3. Yeah, they can't score. We get it. I still think it's going to be a close game. I got it right now. I'm looking at 29-17.
Aaron, I don't.
Am I drunk?
I'm going to go with 13. I'm going to go with, around 29-13. I think it's going to be very difficult for Iowa to score because I believe that Oregon is going to put their DBs in man coverage and load up the box and say, if you can throw it over Finney and Alford or Finney and whoever else is at the other corner, you win the game, buddy. But we're gonna bet that Gronowski, who has thrown for 900, the starting quarterback, he's started every game, has not missed time, has thrown for 946 yards so far, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
And he threw for like 2,700 at his last stop, right? Was he at one of the Dakotas? Was he South Dakota?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he throw for like 2,900?
Yeah, but, he threw for 2,700. Oh, so he threw for 29, 3,000, and 27, but he ran a lot when he was in there too. It's not quite the same. But
it's not. But I mean, Vernon Adams went from FCS to light it up. Prukop was even solid for Oregon. No. If this guy's regressed at Iowa, he should be better. Unless it's just Iowa doesn't know how to throw the football.
Iowa's offense. Yeah. It is Iowa's offense that is the problem. It is not. So I'm going to give this a threat level of 3.
Okay.
3.5. I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Okay.
Because Iowa's a good football team. They should be ranked right now. They will probably be ranked next week. Yeah. And I think that they're a good football team. They should be ranked. And if you can stop their run game, you are going to win this football game. You are going to win. They've rushed for 500 more yards than they have thrown it for. They average this like damn near the same amount per pass attempt that they do as rushing.
Pitiful.
I can almost guarantee you that they throw for under 100 yards in this game.
Damn. I've been trying to talk myself into this game being really good for so long, and I'm coming to the realization that I'm just begging. All right. We'll talk about that game more next week. Today's episode of the Ducks Confidential Podcast was brought to you by Travel Lane County, an organization that promotes travel and tourism in the Eugene, Cascades, and Coast region. Ducks fans can find out more at www.eugenecascadescoast.org. All right, George, have a good weekend on the CW, and we'll catch up next week.
Yes, sir.
Later.